Hello everybody, welcome back. Every passing week is getting us closer and closer to the 3.0 update, that very important update for Star Citizen, that huge milestone for this ambitious project that I truly believe will transform Star Citizen into an actual game and will be the starting point for an amazing adventure for all of us. 3.0 is very important for Star Citizen not only because the planetary tech will make its debut to the persistent universe with a 3 moons around Crusader, and of course the ability to land and walk on these moons and perform some ground exploration, go everywhere we like, do everything we want. 3.0 will be very important also for every other detail, for every other feature that will make it to this patch, that will make its appearance for the first time in the expanded persistent universe. Everything will have an impact on the success of this update, from of course the planetary tech and the first set of professions to the improved AI, the improved mission system and the player interaction system. And we will focus today on the player interaction system, which is basically the evolution of the item 2.0 system, and a system that I will dare describe it as revolutionary, although very easy to understand, very easy to look how it works. I think it will change Star Citizen into something that we have never seen before. In the latest Around the Verse, we got a very good look at this player interaction system, how it works, how simple it is, and how many great changes can bring to the game. And this is actually the beauty of being part of Star Citizen right now, of participating in the development process, witnessing the birth of features like this one, and of course witnessing how they are evolving, how they become better and better. The reason I am really excited about the player interaction system is because it is a system that will allow us to interact with pretty much everything in the Star Citizen universe, with every item, object, ship, weapon, give us the freedom to perform any possible action. We will be able to interact with everything that is in front of us, and this will give us much better control to our actions, to the actions of our character, but also a much better freedom to enjoy the game. But we can already interact with the item 2.0, the first implementation of the item 2.0 in the game, with pretty much everything: ships, items, weapons, everything that is interactable. So what will really change with the player interaction system? To answer simply, it will give us the option to perform more complex actions, to go near an object and choose from a number of different options which action we want to execute, which action we want our character to perform at any given time. It will also give us much better control of our items, of our weapons. It will be possible to attach or detach components, alter in that way the functionality of our weapon or the item that we are controlling, the item that we are carrying, whether that is a rifle or a radar, a portable radar. And of course it will allow us to have better control on our vessel, on everything on our vessel, every little screen, every little button in our cockpit. It is very interesting how the system is going to work. Every time we are near an interactable object, we will be able to press and hold F by default. This is what the developers have mentioned, and we will get into the player interaction mode, player interaction system mode. When that happens, a cursor will appear that we will be able to move around the different objects in front of us and interact with the object we want, whether it is in front of us or whether we are carrying it. If it is a weapon and we want to add a silencer, for example, or we want to detach a silencer, for example, we will have the freedom to perform pretty much every action we can think of. Actions that in other game we will have to go into our inventory and then click on the item, a weapon for example, then make alterations on its functionality and what kind of components we can attach on it. We will be able to do this with our character in first person without having to go into a menu with Star Citizen and this new player interaction system. And the same, of course, will be for our ships. We will be able to get into the player interaction system and use the cursor in order to interact with the screen that we want to interact, in order to click the button we want and perform a specific action. There are, of course, some concerns that this will be time consuming and we might not have enough time to perform the required action in order to save our character. If it is a matter of life and death, it might be too time consuming. Thankfully, the developers have mentioned that hotkeys will be working. So what we have right now, for example, to enter a vessel, one of your ships, and power the engines, take off, etc., you will be able to use the player interaction system and do it step by step, giving us, to be honest, a great feeling of being in space, being an actual pilot in space. But it will also be possible to press some hotkeys like we do right now, take off, quantum, travel somewhere we want to go, and do anything else we want to do. It is definitely a feature that will add a certain level of freedom in Star Citizen that we have never seen before, and of course will add adventure elements to the game. It will stop being strictly first-person shooter game. It will always be an FPS game, but with more depth, in my opinion. And also the ability to grab items, grab everything we want and place them anywhere we want, in any way we like, will have an impact in the future in Outpost, if the developers will give us the ability to sometime later in the future build our own outpost. With such an interaction system on our hands, we will also be able to maybe place anything we want in there, decorate them in any way we like. No matter what we say about this player interaction system, I think it is going to be a great addition for Star Citizen, and it will definitely make the universe a lot more alive, with a lot more options for us and a lot more freedom to enjoy it. In the latest Around the Verse was also nice to see how the whole system evolved from the grabby hands system, the way they mentioned the very first implementation, the use button we had at the beginning, up to the 2.6 update, how this was our first interaction with pretty much everything in the world, and later we got what we have right now, the first implementation of the Item 2.0 system, which is indeed an improvement, but not as good as the player interaction system we are going to get next, starting with the 3.0 update. That is not all. We do have some more news to talk about regarding 3.0 and the progress on the 3.0 that we have seen the latest Around the Verse, like the real-time volumetric fog for lightning, which is something like a scene out of a horror movie, and I would really hate to see something like that and think of what could jump out of this fog if I am alone in space exploring a derelict vessel. We got to see some really cool atmospheric flight effects, and we have learned that they will be controlled by the speed of our vessel, but also the atmospheric density values. And it is indeed a very cool sight, a very impressive sight, and honestly something that we all can wait to see in game with the 3.0 update. We cannot ignore, of course, the amazing progress that has been done on the reclaimer, which is actually now huge, and it has a terrifying claw in front of it. It is indeed an amazing sight. I'm really happy they have shown us the reclaimer. It is one of my favorite ships. I would really like to have a reclaimer sometime later in the verse and performing some salvaging, or at least trying to find some points of interest. We have learned that the habitation and tech decks are fully fleshed out on the interior, and they have also added an enormous salvage processing room. They are now working on finishing the drone room, engineering deck and cockpit. Work also continues on the Hull C, which is very similar to other MISC ships, in the interior at least, but also on the Prospector. We got to see a bit more of the Prospector in this latest Around the Verse, and it is looking like a great little vessel for mining. It will be added with the 3.0 update. Unfortunately, Mining, at least from what we know so far, will not be added with the 3.0, but this can change anytime. This is everything I wanted to share with you today, mainly the player interaction system. I think it is going to be a great addition to the game. I think it will make our life easier. It will give us the freedom to perform a lot more complex actions in the game. And like I said so many times already, have the freedom to do everything we want. What do you really think about this player interaction system? I honestly think it will change Star Citizen for the best, and I can't wait to see it in the 3.0 update, or at least the first implementation of this player interaction system, if the developers are not ready to give us the whole system with this very important update. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove, and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.